Still on education, Ghana's education sector is grinding to a halt from today as the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, Tewu, declares an indefinite nationwide strike. The union's members donning red armbands and chanting sorrowful songs today at a news conference say they are distressed by government's persistent silence on their plight. At the news conference today in Accra, Tewu General Secretary King James Azotiba said members have endured neglect for far too long and had no option but to declare an indefinite strike, adding that they will not return to work until their demands are met.
The public universities of Ghana, the technical universities of Ghana, as well as the Ghana Library Board, the Ghana Museums and Monuments Boards, have been taken for granted. Our contributions to the smooth running of the educational system in this country is indispensable. Yet, we are constantly being sidelined. When it comes to welfare, when it comes to staff benefits, and more importantly, our conditions of service, which is rightfully our right as enshrined in the Labour Act, Act 651 of 2003. Madam Chair, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, Tewu of TUC, we have exercised a lot of patience. We have shown commitment to dialogue with our social partners. Unfortunately, the issues that have affected our members remain unresolved. And promises made to us have been left unfulfilled. This persistent neglect is nothing short of discrimination and unfair labor practices, which will not be tolerated. Unfair labor practices and discriminations are both in the 1992 Constitution of Ghana and the Labour Act, Act 651 of 2003. These are all forbidding acts that anybody is supposed to melt to a worker or workers group. Sister Chair, it is for this reason that effective today, the 19th day of September 2025, the Tewu of TUC hereby declares a nationwide strike with immediate effect.
Well, let's explore this further here on The Pulse. Join me in the studio is King James Azotiba, General Secretary of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. I just want to start with an understanding of your key concerns. You're raising concerns of your conditions of service, but flesh it out for me. What exactly are your expectations of government?
Thank you so much, and then my best regards from the leadership of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union to all your listeners nationwide. The expectations that we have from government is very simple. We are part of the working class in this country. Our contributions to education is immeasurable. We are a very critical group. We are the educational support personnel. We support education delivery in this country. And so what is currently happening is a little bit of a sign of discrimination of labor, a sign of unfair practice. We're saying this because we work in the same educational environment like in the public universities, the University Teachers Association, the Senior Staff Association of the Public Universities, their conditions of service have been signed. And that of my members who are the junior staff members of the public universities and the public technical universities are left unsigned. We feel seriously slanted on that. When you come to the Ghana Education Service, the total employee strength of the Ghana Education Service is 400,000 workers. And these workers include teachers and the non-teaching class. The teachers unions in the Ghana Education Service, we have 4 unions. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, then we have the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, formerly CCT, and then the Teachers Educational Workers Union, Tewu of TUC. The 3 teacher unions have a total workforce of 350,000 teachers. Their conditions of service have been signed for them. My members are just about 50,000. And yet, since 2020, our conditions of service are pending.
And I recall this is not the first time you've raised concerns about it. Last year, November, you also withdrew your services over the same demands. And it hasn't been resolved.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the key details. When it comes to condition of service, I know it has to do with your leave days and what have not. What are the key new amendments in that service that you want government to append their signature to?
Oh, okay. So the condition of service is a total document that includes all the contract of service that we as the unions negotiate for our members with our employers and the employers' agencies. And so when we talk about the employer agencies, hitherto we used to negotiate with the vice chancellors in the public universities. So we go to the University of Ghana, we meet the vice chancellor, we negotiate. Then later on they change to a committee of vice chancellors, so it rotates. So if it goes to Tech, we go to Tech and negotiate for all the universities. Now the system has changed. The Ghana Tertiary Education Council, GTEC, is now in charge of everything in education, including negotiation of salaries and conditions of service. And so they will have to sit. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service will have to sit. The Executive Director of the Ghana Library Authority and that of the Museums and Monuments Board, they have to sit. And then a rep from the Ministry of Finance.
And that has already been done?
Yes, we have had a fair sitting and we have signed the rules of engagement. So what is just left is left with just a little of the financial component of it, which the fair wages and our employers' agents have done the calculations and submitted to the Ministry of Finance. So for them to just give them the go ahead to sit down one day, within 5 days, all the 5 conditions of service will be concluded.
What are the rules of engagement?
Rules of engagements are when you submit your proposals to the government for negotiation, that is the condition of service, they will look at it and then they will come out with the laws of negotiations. What you can do during negotiations. So if like we are on the table, I cannot go on strike. If we are on the table negotiating, I cannot write a red band. But if you call us for rules of negotiations in June 2025, and you are given a mandate by 28th of August, you should conclude negotiation with me and let us report back to the National Labour Commission. August has ended. We are in September. They are not getting even the permission to call us, because when they call us back to the table, we have to negotiate and conclude.
But as leadership, you have been engaging the key players in this, the Education Ministry as well as the Labour Ministry. What assurances are they giving you, and what explanation really have they made for this delay?
Unfortunately, they are helpless. They are helpless. The only help that can come from the Ministry of Finance. Until then, I think they want us to stay at home.
So there are financial commitments to some of these conditions of service.
Sure,
allowances? Tell me about them.
Yeah, okay. So the only allowance, which is nothing to talk about when we do comparative figures. In the case of the Ghana Education Service, it's a one-time allowance that we want. That is a continuous professional development and skills allowance. Continuous professional development and skills allowance. And this allowance is just a one-time of 2,400 in the whole year. And so when they say, okay, if you think you can't gather all that money at a go for 400,000 workers, why don't you pay it monthly? Which will be less than 200 every month. Is
that a proposal on the table?
Oh, yes. But they want to pay it at a one-time payment every year. So what is happening is that on our condition of service, it started from 1,002, it has moved to 2,400. So what is on our condition of service is 1,002. The review one is 2,400. The teachers enjoyed 2,400 last year. And if they should do the payment today, they will get 2,400 and we'll still be at the 1,002.
But that's like 100% increment.
Yes.
And what's government's concern? They don't have the money, do they?
Oh, I don't think they don't have. If they can cough that money for 350,000 teachers, I don't see why they cannot get that money for 50,000 education support personnel. I don't know. I will become more than confused if they tell me they can't get the money. I don't think that is the issue. And okay, maybe the other issue is that it's just that they don't even have time to just sit and they don't take us to be serious.
Have you tried engaging the finance minister's leadership personally?
You know the system in this country. And we in the trade unions will work according to our sector ministerials. Yes. And so my sector is under the Ministry of Education. Closely I work with the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations. And we just, this afternoon when he heard of our strike, he also called us and we went to him. Well, they all promised to pick up the matter with the Minister of Education. They all have to pick up the matter with the Minister of Finance, and then he will give the clearance for the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to continue with the negotiations with the heirs.
I'm quite interested in the details of this condition of service.
Okay.
Let's take out the financial implications to government.
Okay.
What are some of the key reliefs you're seeking when it comes to your leave days and what have not?
So leave days, we have number of leave days that we enjoy. So 32 working days for the junior staff and 34 working days plus 2 traveling working days. We have maternity leave arrangement for the gender, the ladies who are also workers. And these days, globally, we have also come out with a new leave called the paternity leave that we are also introducing, that when your wife gives birth, at least as a father, you should stay home at least 1 week or 2 weeks. And that for our proposal on the paternity leave is 2 weeks, just some 10 days to give first-hand support to your new baby and the mother. At least family care is very, very important because we men, we get so much engrossed with our work. And so if you don't get that opportunity of a paternity leave until you get your annual leave, and then you will never get it until some time that your partner in the house might not even need it. Okay, we also have in the condition of service disciplinary rules. So we try to categorize the disciplinary rules so that if there's an offense in the office, we try to classify it into minor offense, major offense, and a very critical offense that demerits an outward dismissal. A minor offense might warrant a warning letter. But without these things, somebody can just do a minor offense, somebody can just look at you, shout on you, and when you return back, you are fired.
Let's listen to the Labour Minister, and I'll come back to you for a reaction to that. He says that government has taken notice of your key concerns and he's working to address them. Let's listen to him. We'll be back to get the reaction of Tewu on this.
Taking notice of their demands. They had come over to my office. They have discussed their challenges. I made arrangements and had a meeting with the finance minister. We discussed, expressed really he proposed ways by which he would tackle it after comprehensively looking at not just their own, but the other proposals sent to us by various organizations who are also threatening strike actions. We think that as a government, to tackle them individually will create much more problems for the labor force in Ghana. And rather than doing so, we thought that we have a comprehensive approach by the Ministry of Finance to their demands. So in the end, it will be seen as solving the problems. I am looking out to have a chat with them to give them assurance that what they are asking for temporarily.
Tewu has warned that any attempt.
Well, we just heard from the Labour and Employment Minister. Has he engaged you?
Yes, immediately after our press conference. In fact, last night he called me and he was wondering why we have not come to his office or we've not reported our grievances to him. We also made it known to him that several letters to both his office and then the agents under his office, most of these letters are written to the agents, Fair Wages, Labour Commission, and then our sector minister, Director General of GTEC, GES, and then we copy to the sector minister of Education and Employment. And so we had that discussion. He gave us some assurance that he would try to lace up with the colleague ministers of finance and others. And we had this assurance we keep on hearing every time. And we pray that this is going to be different.
What will it take for you to go back to the classroom?
What will take us to go back, for me to be able to go back with my team, is if we have the full assurance and the proof of financial clearance from the Finance Ministry to the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and our employer agents to go back to the table. That is the only thing.
Until then, Aluta continue.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're still watching The Pulse. When we come back in the studio, we'll tell you what the opposition New Patriotic Party is up to and the key concerns they have about this administration. Please stay with us.